Greetings everybody! So in today's episode I'm going to review the fruit of several different epiphytic plants. Now you should understand that I am not a botanist or horticulturist or a gardener. I am a circus performer that likes fruit. So I didn't know what the hell an epiphytic plant was. And if you're like me and you don't know, don't worry, I looked it up. Epiphytic plants, or epiphytes, are plants that grow on other plants. The roots do not go into the ground, the roots go onto like tree bark or something like that, okay? So they attach to another plant with their roots, or sometimes the roots do not connect to anything. They'll just like hang in the air. For instance, if you look at this oak tree here, this oak tree actually has two different epiphytes on it. It has the resurrection fern, which are these little leafy bits. Those attach with little roots into the bark of the oak tree. And then we also have Spanish moss. Spanish moss does not actually connect into the tree at all. Epiphytes grow on other plants, however, they are not parasites. How parasitic plants work is they will grow on another plant, but they will like tap into it and suck out nutrients like little vampires, okay? Epiphytes don't do that. They will live on the plant, but they won't take nutrition straight out of the plant that they're on. Instead, they'll just kind of like use it to collect nutrition from debris that might fall on it, or from rainwater, or from the air, okay? So it's using the plant that it's on in order to get what they need, but they're not taking it directly out of the plant that they're on, okay? So they are not like vampires, they're more like horseback riders. And that is not to say that epiphytes don't sometimes negatively affect the host plant that they're on, because sometimes an epiphyte might block out sunlight that would affect the plant that they're on. Sometimes they'll steal nutrition before it can reach the plant that they're on. So it can indirectly affect the plant they're on in a negative way, but not in the same way that parasites do, which is just like, we're taking this. While we're on the subject of parasitic plants, let me show you my two favorites. First, we have the corpse flower, the Rafflesia. This is the world's largest flower, and it has the reputation of smelling like meat. And it smells like meat because it attracts flies that will pollinate it. I hate to ruin the magic for you, but I smelled the corpse flower, didn't smell. I think some varieties of it do smell, or maybe it depends on the environment or something, but the one that I smelled didn't smell at all. Anyway, it's parasitic. It's a parasitic flower that attaches onto a vine that's actually in the grape family called the tetrastigma vine. It has no relation to it. The flower and the vine have nothing in common. They are different families of plants. However, the corpse flower needs that particular vine in order to survive. Without that, it dies. My second favorite parasitic plant is the ghost pipe. The ghost pipe is a parasitic plant that attaches onto a fungus. Since it gets its nutrition from that fungus, it doesn't need sunlight, so it can grow in really dark areas. And also because of that, it doesn't need chlorophyll, so it has this translucent, very like ghost-like appearance to it. Real neat. Are you a parasite? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Technically, she's more of an epiphyte. Let's get back on topic. Okay, epiphytes are what we're here for today. I promised you that I would review a few different epiphytic plant fruits. And I was given this opportunity by my new friend Marco. Marco has several different fruiting epiphytic plants in his backyard in Costa Rica. First, we have an epiphytic cactus. Did you know that there are epiphytic cactuses? I didn't, but there's actually a few different genuses that produce epiphytic cactuses. And this one here is called the mistletoe cactus. Mistletoe cactus does not have any relationship to the mistletoe that we get around Christmas time, although, fun fact, mistletoe is actually a parasitic plant. So when you are kissing somebody underneath the mistletoe, you are actually kissing somebody underneath a toxic plant parasite. Romantic. Anyway, I tasted one of these fruits and it had no flavor. Next. This little red fruit is also from an epiphytic plant. I did not know what this was, and Marco also didn't know what it was. It's mild, but a little bit sweet. 2 or 3 out of 10. It's got a slight, like watermelon kind of taste, or a little bit like cucumber. It's pretty good. So you said that usually birds get to this before you can?
Yeah, usually, like this one. It's open and eaten by the birds.
Yeah. Well, they have good taste. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's kind of watermelon taste. Very sweet, but not much in depth to it.
So I don't know where it begins. It's a vine, right? So it's...
No, only creeper.
Oh, it's a creeper. So it's not... There's an orange tree in here, and it's like creeping along the branches here. You can see it there. So finally, let's talk about an epiphyte that I'm sure you've probably seen, Anthuriums. Anthuriums are a very popular flower. You may recognize them for having this little inflorescence that sticks out of it. Well, that inflorescence can develop fruit. And when an inflorescence develops fruit, it's no longer called an inflorescence, it's called an infructescence. And I was told by Marco that the fruit coming out of these infructescences were edible. However, when I looked it up online, I couldn't find any reference saying that these things are actually edible. In fact, I saw several references saying that they are in fact toxic. So although Marco says that people do eat these in Costa Rica, and I ate some and I was okay, exercise caution with this one, okay? Look it up more than us. I think maybe it's the sort of thing where if a kid picks 1 or 2 and eats it, they're fine, but in a great enough quantity, maybe it's not good for you. So don't take my word for that one. And what was the name of this?
Anthurium obtusum.
Anthurium obtusum.
All the anthuriums that you grow at home for flowers, they are from the same genus. But this one produces an edible fruit that is usually looked for birds. And people call it elotitos.
Elotitos? But people do actually eat the fruit of it?
Yeah.
Oh. And just out of hand? Just eat it like a berry?
Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of like a gummy bear. It's got like a little bit of a chew to it. And it's like a nice sweet sort of taste. I don't know exactly how to describe that flavor. It's very mild, but nice little pop of sweetness. We can both get in the shot. How would you describe the flavor on that?
I describe it as a simple sweet flavor. It doesn't have many touches of other flavors, but it's very sweet and nice to try it.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off. All right, cool. As I was researching what epiphytes were, I was feeling pretty good about myself up until around this point, because I have seen anthuriums, and I've seen anthuriums in pots and in the ground. People grow them like a flower. Epiphytes are meant to be growing on other plants, so why are these in pots and in the ground? So from what I understand is that these in nature will grow on other plants. However, people who want to grow anthuriums, they can get it to grow in a pot by specifically using a special kind of soil. If you were to take an anthurium and just put it in regular soil, you pack it in regular dirt, it's probably gonna die. But if you use a special soil that's similar to what is used for orchids, and orchids, by the way, the majority of them are also epiphytic, If you use that kind of soil, which usually is like hunks of bark and coconut husks and stones and stuff like that, really loose, clumpy stuff, where it can get a lot of drainage and a lot of air and a lot of other things that I don't really understand because I don't grow plants. If you give it all that, it kind of replicates the environment that the roots would have if they were attached to a piece of bark rather than being put in the ground. If you like Anthuriums, well, today is your lucky day because I've got another one for you.
This is another species related to the previous Anthurium, but this species makes the fruits completely red.
This is another variety or another species?
Another species.
Another species. Okay, let's see how they compare. It's about the same. It's a little sweet, very mild. And on the sweetness, it's like, you know, like a 1 or a 2, just like a little pop of sugar.
I think that this one is a little bit more sweet than the white one.
A little sweeter, okay. But overall, the flavor is pretty similar. So there you have it, an attempt to explain epiphytes from somebody who just recently didn't know what an epiphyte was. I hope this was good, and once again, I would exercise caution before you start eating epiphytic fruits because there is not a whole lot of information out there about people eating these. I'd like to give another thank you to Marco for showing me his incredible plant collection. I'll put some more information about him in the description. I would like to thank my cat for being cute, and I would like to thank you for watching. See you next time. I would like to give a big shout out to Boson Particle. Yes, that is the name that he gave me. Boson Particle is a huge Patreon supporter, and Patreon is how this channel happens. So Boson, thank you. And anybody else who is interested in checking it out, I put a link in the description below to go to my Patreon page. Check it out, and I will see you all next time.